A little while ago, I got the Kobo Libra Colour and was super disappointed. I found it to be a massive downgrade from my 7-year-old Kindle, so I decided to return it and trade up for its older sister, the Kobo Libra 2. Let's talk about it. So like everyone, when the Kobo Libra Colour came out, I was super excited. Now, I'm not someone that has a big use case for it. I don't really read comics or manga, and I'm not an annotator, so I really had no reason to get the device, but I got it as a gift and was super excited to try it out, and I was really disappointed. The screen quality was terrible, and as someone that was coming from a 7-year-old device, I was so excited to see what e-ink had done in that time, and it was really underwhelming. The screen was super fuzzy and grainy, the letters were blurry, and the brightness was terrible. I had to have like 30% brightness inside under direct lighting just to comfortably read. But I did fall in love with the page turn buttons, as I knew I would, and I'd been wanting to get away from Kindles and try out Kobos, and in the end it wasn't a waste because it brought me to my perfect device, the Kobo Libra 2. So this device is discontinued, and it was discontinued when I bought it. I found a refurbished version. It was like one of 5 left, so I was very lucky to get it, and I'm so glad I got my hands on it because it is perfect. It's everything I loved about the Kobo Libra Colour with none of the downsides. So the biggest downside with the Kobo Libra Colour for me was the brightness. I could have kind of gotten over the screen quality and the blurry letters, but the brightness was an absolute deal breaker for me. I'm someone that loves to use my e-reader without any backlight. The only time I really use a backlight is like on a plane where I don't want my light to be on and kind of disturbing everyone around me. Even before bed, I very rarely have the backlight on. I would prefer to have the lamp on and read without the backlight. I know I'm weird, I understand, but it was such a deal breaker for me with the Kobo because I just couldn't use the device the way I liked it, and the brightness of the screen, even having the like front light where I understand doesn't hurt your eyes, it just felt unnatural. It felt like I was reading on a tablet much more than the usual experience where I can kind of feel like I'm reading a book, and it really took me out of it. It is still darker than my Kindle Paperwhite, which is a little disappointing, but you get used to it pretty quickly, and it's so much better than the Kobo. The letters are crisper, everything is nicer. Dark mode is better, the letters and the contrast is much crisper. I'm so glad that I swapped because I just could not handle it on the Kobo Libra Colour. I was also massively underwhelmed by the color e-ink on the Kobo. As I said in my Kobo Colour video, I think you're just getting the worst of both worlds. You're getting a device that acts like a tablet when you want it to be more like an e-reader and not strain your eyes, and you're getting a device that's a lot like an e-reader when you want the vivid colors of a tablet. For me, I don't read a lot of comics and stuff, but I would much rather either borrow it from my library or get it on my laptop or my phone if I don't want to buy it than deal with the e-ink screen and like the color. I'm so happy for the people that have been wanting an e-ink screen that they could read their like comics and manga and stuff on, and that you finally get color. I love that for you, but it was just not for me. I just couldn't handle it. I have also seen people excusing away the graininess and like texturing of the screen on a Kobo Libra Colour as like, oh, that's what paper's like. Yeah, but it's not paper. It's a tablet. Let's be honest with ourselves. Graininess and like inconsistency and text bleeding on a page is so much different to it on a tablet, and it presents very differently. It's a lot less pleasant on an e-reader to be reading through kind of blurriness than it is on a page where the 3D element really kind of makes up for that. I don't know what planet you guys are on, but stop lying to yourselves. In my rush to get my Kobo Libra 2 before they went out of stock, I didn't do a lot of research, and it has kind of come back to bite me a little bit because there are some features that I loved about the Kobo Libra Colour that aren't on the Kobo Libra 2, and I don't know why I just assumed that the only thing they'd done is add color. They had done all these really cool other upgrades that are not on the Kobo Libra 2. The first thing that's really affected me is there's no way to sideload books onto the Kobo Libra 2 without a cable. This is a feature that I abuse with my Kindle. It has an email to Kindle function where you can just email anything to this like set email address, and it's super handy. On the Kobo Libra Colour, you had to either upload it to Dropbox or Drive, and that was a bit of a pain for me. It was just not the way I like to do it, but it was much better than what you have to do with this, which is literally plug it in. And I understand this is such a first world problem, but we're talking e-readers, so this is all like first world problems. It was such a like learning curve, and I spent a good 45 minutes kind of figuring out like, how do I do this? I'm not seeing the option. Is there something wrong with my device? Nope, it's just old. But you do get used to it, and I did find a great life hack, which is someone's made a link that you can enter into like the Kobo's browser, and then you can just send stuff over. So I'll leave that down below because I found that so helpful. But that was a really big disappointment. I felt like I was taking such a step back in time. One thing you do have access to on the Libra 2 that you also had in the Colour is access to your library through the device. This is not a new thing for Kobo users, but it's so exciting for me as someone who's been using Kindle for the last couple of years. I know someone commented on my Kobo Libra Colour video saying that UK libraries didn't support Kindle ebooks, it was only Kobo ebooks. I knew there were some limitations with libraries not supporting Kindle ebooks, but I didn't realize it was that widespread. So that's massive that Kobo does, and it's something I have been loving. I've seen a lot of people talk about how Kobo really supports you reading the books you already own and looking for books from your library rather than pushing you to buy new books. And I do really love that. I love getting to browse through my library and see what books are on there. And, it's just fun being able to do it all from the same device. And it's definitely not a big thing for me. I'm very used to just kind of getting it from my library, from my laptop, and then pushing it over onto my device, but it's really nice. One thing that's really improved my enjoyment of this device is learning how to properly use the page turn buttons. And it sounds silly because why would I need to learn how to use buttons? But it really does make a difference. And I have just fallen in love with them. And it has made switching back to my Kindle the few times that I have tried a lot harder because I just love the page turn buttons. But when I was using the Kobo Libra Colour, I actually ended up using it in landscape mode a lot and kind of holding it like this and pressing the buttons like that, which is actually really comfortable, especially if you're kind of sitting like this, you can press the buttons like that. But then I realized you could swap the buttons, which I had no idea. Now I've switched it so the top button is what you use to move forward, and that has made a world of difference. It's kind of counterintuitive, but it just helps your wrist angle so it's not like this. Now this device is a little bit older than the Kobo Libra Colour, but e-readers and e-ink progresses so slowly, as I've said, so you're not really missing out on much. My 7-year-old Kindle is not great, but it's still chugging along. The battery life is still great. I don't think I get software updates anymore, but it's not like you get software updates frequently for an e-reader. And honestly, I don't think I'm going to miss it that much. Overall, I'm so happy that I returned my Kobo Libra Colour and got a Kobo Libra 2 instead. I really hope they bring back this device or bring back the Kobo Libra in an updated version in black and white, because I really do think it is the perfect and best e-reader. It's a great size, it's portable, but the screen is still really nice and big. It has page turn buttons, it has all the fun features, dark mode, warm light, reading stats. You can get your library on here, USB-C charging, but doesn't really have the gimmicky feature of the color e-ink. So overall, I'm really happy with my decision. Let me know in the comments below if you have either of these devices or what e-reader you use. I would love to hear your opinions. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and join me for another one soon.